Let's talk about a story that's just huge. It's about a tiny hero with the power to humble kings and literally stretch across all of existence. We're diving into the incredible legend of Vamana, the dwarf who measured the universe. Now think about this. How could 3 little footsteps decide the fate of the entire cosmos? It sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? But that's exactly what happens. One simple request for a tiny piece of land ends up hitting the cosmic reset button. So you've got to be wondering, how on earth does that work? All right, so to understand what's going on, we need to picture our universe in total turmoil. There's this constant, epic power struggle between 2 incredibly powerful groups. So you've got 2 sides in this cosmic rivalry. On one side, you have the Devas. You can think of them as the gods, and they're trying to keep everything in order. And on the other side, you've got the Asuras, these other powerful beings who are always challenging the Devas' authority. This endless fight, well, it's pretty much the engine for this entire story. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't your standard good versus evil kind of tale. Because right now, the cosmic balance has been completely flipped on its head. And Asura king is now in charge of, well, everything. And here's the real kicker. This new ruler, King Mahabali, he's not some evil tyrant. Far from it. His reign is actually prosperous and fair. He's taken control of the 3 worlds, Earth, the heavens, the underworld, the whole shebang, and the Devas, they're in exile. So you have this situation where the old order's gone, but the new guy in charge is, by all accounts, doing a pretty great job. So with the gods basically in hiding, their mother, Aditi, is desperate. She starts performing these intense rituals, just begging for the god Vishnu to step in and help. And Vishnu? He answers her call. But oh boy, not in the way anyone could have possibly imagined.
So Vishnu shows up on Earth, but he's incarnated as Vamana, a small dwarf Brahmin, basically a young, holy kid. And his timing is perfect. He arrives just as King Bali is holding this massive ceremony, the Ashwamedha Yagna, which is designed to make his power over the universe absolute. And right into the middle of all this grandeur walks this tiny, humble-looking boy.
Okay, this is where the tension really ramps up. Vamana asks for what sounds like the most ridiculously small gift ever. Just a little bit of land, whatever he can cover in 3 of his tiny footsteps. But King Bali's advisor, Shukra, he's sharp. He sees right through it, and he warns the king, hey, that's no kid, that's Vishnu in disguise, it's a trap. But Bali, he's a king who lives by his duty, his dharma, and a king's duty is to grant the request of a Brahmin. So against all advice, he gives his word. And with that promise, his fate is sealed. The promise has been made. And now, the humble act is over. It's time to see what Vamana is really capable of. And what happens next is without a doubt one of the most mind-blowing scenes in all of Hindu mythology. So in a flash, Vamana starts to grow. And I mean, he just keeps growing and growing until he's no longer a dwarf. He's transformed into this cosmic giant called Trivikrama. This form is so unbelievably massive that his body literally contains everything. The sun, the moon, all the stars, the entirety of existence is inside him. Okay, so he takes his first step, and with that single step, he covers the entire Earth. Not just the surface, but the underworld beneath it too. Boom. One step, and the physical world is claimed. Then comes the second step. And this one is even bigger. It stretches all the way up, across the sky, through the heavens, covering every single celestial realm you can imagine. Just like that, in 2 steps, the entire universe is covered. There's nothing left. And this is the checkmate moment, right? The whole universe has been measured. So Vamana, in his giant form, turns back to King Bali and says, you promised me land for 3 steps. I've taken 2, but there's nowhere left. Where do you want me to put my 3rd step? What Bali does next is what makes him a legendary figure. He doesn't argue, he doesn't try to back out of his deal, he simply bows his head. In this incredible act of keeping his word, he offers the only thing he has left, himself. He tells Vishnu to place that 3rd and final step right on his head. So Vishnu places his foot on Bali's head, fulfilling the promise and sending him down to the netherworld. But, and this is super important, it's not a punishment. Vishnu is completely blown away by Bali's integrity. He blesses him. Sure, the heavens go back to the Devas, but Bali is made the ruler of Sutala, a realm in the underworld that's said to be even more beautiful than heaven itself. In the end, his honor is preserved. Now, a story this amazing doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. Like a lot of these epic myths, it grew and changed over thousands of years. And the cool part is, we can actually trace its roots back through some of the most ancient scriptures on the planet. Yeah, the basic idea of a god taking 3 giant steps to cover the world, that's been around for a long time. We can literally watch how the story got built, piece by piece, over the centuries. So if you look way back at the Rig Veda, one of the oldest texts we have, you find these hints of Vishnu taking 3 strides. No dwarf, no king, just the basic idea. Then you move forward in time to the Brahmanas, and suddenly the idea of Vishnu appearing as a dwarf to win back the earth shows up. And then finally you get to the Puranas, and bam, you have the whole blockbuster story we know today, with Vamana, King Bali, all the drama. It's really cool to see how it evolved from a simple concept into this epic legend. And, those 3 steps aren't just literal. They're packed with symbolism. Think about it. They can represent the sun's journey, sunrise, midday, and sunset. They can also be the 3 worlds, Earth, the sky, and the heavens. And on a more personal level, they can even line up with our states of consciousness, being awake, dreaming, and being in a deep sleep. So that final step on Bali's head, it's not just about winning a cosmic real estate battle. It's symbolic of total surrender and spiritual liberation. Which brings us to a really fascinating question to think about. At the end of the day, the gods get their power back. But you could argue the real hero of the story is King Bali, the guy who loses everything. He chose to keep his word over his entire kingdom, his power, everything. It really makes you wonder, what does it say about a value system, about a culture, when keeping a promise is considered more important than holding on to the entire universe?